Welcome, class. I'm Professor Deirdre Mulligan. I'm here to provide you with some insight on the policy, legal, and ethical issues that you're going to face as a data scientist. My background is in law. I began my career at the American Civil Liberties Union and helped found one of the leading nonprofits in the area of digital data and information and communication technology called the Center for Democracy and Technology in Washington, D.C. I came to the law school at UC Berkeley about 12 years ago now and was the nerd at the law school. And at some point, I was more interested in being the lawyer at the slightly nerdier school, at the School of Information. And I love to be engaged in the nitty-gritty of data and technical systems and to think deeply with people who design information communication technologies, platforms, applications, and those who use data to make decisions to understand what are the political, legal, and ethical implications and how can we address them not just through law, but through technical designs, through the practices and the professional knowledge that people like yourself bring to your trade. And so I'm really delighted to be part of this curriculum.